Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that money no longer exists. Not a single coin, no credit cards, no numbers in your bank account. Just nothing. How would the world even survive? Would people still go to work, or would everything just collapse into chaos? Let's explore what would really happen if money vanished overnight. Within a few hours, pure panic would sweep across the globe. Stock markets would freeze solid. Banks would shut their doors, their vaults suddenly filled with worthless paper. Shopping malls, once bustling with activity, would turn into eerie ghost towns. People would rush into grocery stores, desperate for food. But without a way to pay, how does anyone trade? The world's most valuable resource would no longer be gold or cash. It would be trust. We'd be thrown back into an ancient system. Bartering. Need a loaf of bread? Well, what have you got to trade? Maybe those shoes on your feet. Need to keep the lights on? You better hope your skills as a plumber or an electrician are in high demand. Mechanics would be fixing cars in exchange for a week's worth of groceries. Teachers would hold classes in exchange for a roof over their heads. Society would transform into one massive, chaotic swap meet. But this system is far from perfect. Chaos would start to brew when people can't agree on what's a fair trade. Is a dozen eggs really worth a new shirt? Who decides? The entire social hierarchy would be flipped on its head. Billionaires who once held immense power would lose everything in an instant. Their mansions and yachts would be worthless if they couldn't be traded for food or security. The new elite would be the people with practical skills. Farmers, builders, doctors, and engineers would suddenly become the most important people in society. A single bag of rice would hold more value than a luxury sports car. In this new world, it's not what you own that matters, but what you can do. Kindness, trust, and real survival skills would become the new currency. Governments would scramble to regain control. They'd frantically propose new systems to replace money. Maybe energy credits based on work, a social reputation score, or even a complex system of digital barter tokens. But without a universally accepted symbol of value, most of these attempts would likely fail. Trade would become exhausting and inefficient. People would start to realize that maybe money was never the real enemy. Human greed was. But after months of confusion and struggle, something beautiful might start to happen. Small, tight-knit communities would find a new kind of balance. They'd learn to trade fairly, share their resources, and genuinely help each other survive. The massive, impersonal cities might shrink, while smaller towns and villages could thrive. People would rediscover the power of cooperation, a value many of us lost in the relentless race for wealth. Humanity would begin to value relationships over riches, connection over currency. Crime as we know it would transform. Bank robberies would become a thing of the past, but theft of food, water, and essential supplies would skyrocket. Celebrities and influencers would fade into irrelevance, replaced by a new kind of icon. The healers, the farmers, the inventors, the people who actually contribute to society's well-being. In some places, happiness might actually increase as people find purpose beyond material gain. But in others, the daily struggle for survival would become harder than ever. A world without money would be a paradox, peaceful for some, but incredibly painful for many others. So, what would truly happen if money disappeared? The world we know would almost certainly fall apart, but from the ashes, it might just rebuild itself on a foundation far stronger than paper or pixels: human connection. Because in the end, true value doesn't come from what's in our wallets. It comes from what we can give to each other, and who we become when we have nothing left to lose. What do you think? Would you be able to survive in a world without money? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more mind-bending what-if scenarios. Thanks for watching.